Okay, welcome back, Jam Master Jedi, Jedi Prince, for the Life Force Power Center and Life Force Power Temple. I'm going to play this. This is a good interview by Richard Cassaro, and he talks about pretty much origins of religions, belief systems, and stuff like that. This is a little thing he's talking about where the Roman Constantine and that whole party got their ideal of Jesus and creation of Jesus and so forth, and why they are similar. So just listen to the facts and you can form your own opinion from there. Okay, thanks.
I really want my audience to try their best to get one of these books. Written in Stone is the one I have, and it's the one we're talking about, but you've also written The Deeper Truth. Get into that a little bit and tell me about your theories regarding Jesus and the Osirian religion.
Yeah, okay. The Deeper Truth's a book I wrote mostly in college, mostly just after college when I started traveling, and it's just a collection of the similarities that I noticed between the Egyptian god Osiris and Jesus. The ancient Egyptian religion was basically the Syrian religion, let's call it. They took this kind of hard to say in a nutshell, but let's do it. Osiris, was like a Christ. He was looked upon as the incarnation of a perfected soul. He was caring, he was nurturing, he practiced spiritual development, he got rid of cannibalism, he taught the people, he taught the children, he cared. He was basically good in every single way, somebody that we all admire and want to be like. So in Buddhism, there's something called the Tathagata Garbha Sutra, and it's very interesting because in a nutshell, it's basically the idea that beneath all of the outer layers of clothing, there's like a jewel, there's a soul, there's a Christ, let's call it. Let's just say that word Christ as if it's another word for soul or sun within. And according to the sutra, the idea of life is to chisel away the outer layers, to like peel off the outer layers like an onion or like clothes, one at a time, to get to that deeper inner layer, to get to that gold within, that sun within, that Christ within. That's an important concept because in Gnosticism with a G, as in gnosis, the concept of gnosis is knowledge. And it's knowledge of that Christ within. Not really the belief. It's not a faith. It's a belief. It's knowledge of there being a Christ within. Why am I bringing this up? Because there's a lot of similarities between Osiris in Egypt and Christ, the Christ of Christianity. But there's one important difference. In Egypt, everybody followed Osiris. Osiris was kind of the perfected being, the Buddha of Egypt. He had eliminated cannibalism. He taught agriculture. He followed all the initiations that he was supposed to. He was a leader. He was the supposed first pharaoh, the first king of Egypt. And we all know the story of his death and resurrection from the dead. And it was his resurrection that made the people believe in life after death, etc., etc. By far, Osiris was the central figure of the ancient Egyptian religion. He was said to be the incarnation of Ra on earth, Ra being the sun god. And all of this is really just a story of our own manifestations as spiritual beings, and the idea that we are each sun gods, we are each souls that manifest in the world, and the meaning of life is to perfect ourselves and to remember that is we're remembering who we are. And one of the things that I see that Christianity did, and this is according to the work of Gerald Massey and Kuhn, who were Egyptologists and scholars in the 20th century and late 19th centuries, they looked at it and said, okay, it looks like the Gnostic religion was very Egyptian in nature. They believed that we all have a kind of Christ within. That's our soul within. And life is about peeling off the outer layers to find that Christ within. We all have that perfect being within us, the soul within us, the God within us, that perfected being. Except here's the difference now. The forefathers, the founders of Christianity, the clergy, the authorities, took that symbol and turned it inside out so that they made you, they orphaned you. They didn't tell you that you have a Christ within. They said that there's a guy over there, and they pointed on that direction, and they said, that guy named Christ. Follow him. He's got the wisdom. You're a nobody, but he's a somebody, and you have to follow what he says. What he says goes. If you follow him, you'll get to heaven. So a lot of what my belief in the Egyptian religion is that they had the true teaching. They had that Christ within teaching, and the Christians kind of turned it. The founders of Christianity kind of turned it around. They took it away from everybody and they gave it to Jesus, and they said that he's the only one that has it. I think historically the Jesus person is kind of like a Buddha figure. I don't believe he's a myth. I believe he was a real person that actually found his Christ within, and to a degree that he was a perfected soul on earth. A lot of what we talked about earlier, you had mentioned another author.
Okay, there you have it. That's Richard Cassaro talking about this knowledge of origins of religion and Christ and gods and so forth. And as you can see, these stories are very similar. They all are based on facts. So study your facts, make your own decision on who you want to be. But always remember, the choice is yours because you are the power.